Hello everybody, Cooking in the Kitchen with Sylvia again. This time I'm going to show you an easy recipe for pot roast. It's a roast beef that you can bake in the oven for a couple of hours, depends on how big your roast is. This one is about 3.5 pounds. I'm going to show you how I season it and how I put it in the pan. You don't need a deep roasting pan. Some of us don't have those. I don't have one, but this will work for you as far as roasting, because we're going to just put it in here and I'll show you how to get it together. This is going to take about 2.5 hours to cook, and you have to do nothing except just do the prep, put it in the oven and leave it alone. It will take care of itself after that. So here we go. I've got a 3.5 pound roast. You do want to season it generously, because the season, being that it's a big piece of meat, needs to absorb some of this salt. We're going to just use some basic seasoning, which is salt, some garlic powder. You can add pepper if you like. I'm just going to put a dash of pepper, but it's to you how you like it, a little more seasoned. But you do want to be generous with the salt. I know it looks like a lot, but trust me, this is a big piece of meat, and if you want it to taste good, you've got to get those seasons on there. So here we go. Just get it in there. Season it generously. Do the same thing with garlic powder. Just sprinkle it on there and rub it in. This is what's going to flavor our roast, and also the leftover gravy that we can make a gravy sauce with this. Okay, so get it in there. And like I said, depends on how much pepper you want, but we don't want too much, but you put as much as you like. Not too much, just get it a little seasoning. Now here's the thing with the roast. You do want to drizzle some vegetable oil, canola oil on top. Okay, so just rub it on there. You don't have to put the bottom so much, but you do want some mostly on the top. This is what's going to help crisp up our roast when we have it in the oven. I know some people like to braise their roast just before they put it in the oven, but to save you some time, you don't have a big pan to do that, because you do need one that will fit your roast. You can omit that part. So that's what the oil is for. Now on our roasting pan, in order to keep this roast moist, you do want to add some water to the bottom of the container. So I usually add about 2 cups just to keep it in there. And basically I base it on 2 cups of water, 2 hours in the oven. That's enough liquid that will eventually evaporate, but it'll also keep our roast nice and moist inside. It's going to get all kind of crispy on the top. On the outside, it's going to bake really nice, but it's also going to be moist inside because of the water that I put there. So all you do is place that roast on top of that, and we're going to pop it in the oven. I have it at 350 for 2.5 hours. Let me go open the door of the oven so I can bring it over. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's bring this over to our oven. I have it kind of on the, not the lower level, but on the next level up. So pop it in there. Just keep it, just leave it alone. Don't do anything. You don't have to do any basting. Just leave it in there for about 2.5 hours. This is a 3.5 roast, and you can check on it after the 2.5 hours. If you want to cook it a little bit more, you can, but it should be done by then. Okay, I'll come back when it's all ready. Okay, let's check on that roast now. It's been about 2.5 hours, and the roast should be just about done. I mean, it's pretty much getting crispy on the top. Of course, it's really hot here, so make sure you wear your mittens. I'm going to bring this up here. Place it on a counter with something to protect your countertop. And I'm going to let this roast just rest there for a little bit. I'm going to show you how to make a quick gravy before we slice up the roast. So you always want it to rest at least time 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so that all the juices go back inside the meat before you cut it. Okay, so just leave it there for now. You can see that it's all crispy, crusty, and it's well done. So let me show you real quick how to put a simple gravy with the drippings from that roast that we're going to do here. So all we need on this end is about half of a stick of butter. Let that melt down a little bit. Doesn't take too long. Let that melt down. While we're waiting for the roast to get ready to get sliced, we want it to rest a little bit. Making a roux, this is what's going to help thicken the sauce. You don't need it too high. Just let that melt down. And we're going to add about half a cup of flour to this. And this is going to make about probably a cup of gravy to go on your roast. You can either serve it on the side. Of course, roast always goes good with some steamed vegetables and mashed potatoes. And now that that's heated up, just put your flour, work that in. I'm going to cook it down just a little bit before I add the extra liquid from the roast. I'm going to cook this for just a little bit. You can use a fork or you can use a whisk like this, because once we get it going, it's going to thicken up. So let that heat just a little bit there. And then I'm going to turn that off for a second. And I'm going to transfer the roast over here for now. You can grab yourself some good tongs, lift it up a little bit. It's okay if some of the juices come out. We're going to use those in the gravy. And I'm going to bring this over. Okay, let that rest there. Now we're going to carefully burn yourself. Put that out of the way. You can see the liquid from the roast. Some of this is that water that I put down here, but that's where all the flavor drippings went into the roast. So this is what we're going to put into our gravy. Okay, let me get my other here. You don't have to strain it, but I'm going to strain it anyway, because sometimes people don't want too much lumps in their gravy. So pour that in there. All of that liquid. Over here. Just a little bit. And we're going to whisk this around. So, I know it doesn't look like a lot. We're actually going to add a little water. More water to this because, number one, remember all that extra salt that we had down there in the gravy? Some of that salt actually dripped off into the water. So what we're going to do once we get the gravy going here, see how it's getting thicker now? And as it gets thicker and thicker, okay, just keep going. Fire down just a little more. Whisk that around. A good whisk. See how it's real thick? This is where we're going to add the extra water. So just add probably going to add about a cup. Whisk that around. This is good gravy for your roast. Sometimes some people don't necessarily want the gravy. You can just use the pan drippings straight from the pan, put it in a container and serve it that way. I made mashed potatoes, so I know that people like to have some mashed potatoes with gravy. So now that that's mixed through, see how it's not lumpy anymore, it's nice and smooth. Here's where we're going to do a quick taste test. The reason why you want to taste it is because sometimes it has just a little too much salt. You don't want to put too much salt. So cool. It does have that little bit of extra salt. You can add a dash of pepper to this. This is already flavored. You don't have to add anything else. If you want it a little more spicy, you can toss in a dash of pepper. If you want it more flavorful, you can also put a dash of soy sauce and even some garlic powder. Right now, this tastes just great the way it is. Now that it's thickened up, I'm just going to leave it there. Now we're going to work on our roast, and I'll show you how it looks when you slice it. So here we go. Got a nice piece over here. Maybe I'll do this side. And I'll show you that your roast is ready. Give it a good slice there. See? Okay. It's already cooked through. So when you're ready to plate this on your tray, on your platter for your family, just slice it through as you're ready to serve your family. So I'm going to go ahead and move this other piece over to my platter so I can always slice it some more. See how juicy it is. Probably needed a bigger platter, but it's okay. And you can see how moist it is. There's still a lot of juices from the cooking. Put that in there. And this is your easy, quick recipe for pot roast. Serve it along with some steamed vegetables, maybe some mashed potatoes. You can put your gravy on the side as well. I hope you get a chance to try this recipe. Here's our gravy. And I'll catch you again for another easy recipe on Sylvia's in the Kitchen. Bye-bye.